Welcome to Kangaroos, the podcast. We provide incredibly local content for our incredible local realtors. I'm Andrew, here with Rachel. Welcome to the party, Rachel.
Thank you. Welcome to us both.
Today, we've got a few fun topics to talk through, but the question
of today is, we might argue over this, but do you like swimming in lakes? Go.
Yeah. So, I do. I like swimming in just about anything. I prefer clear water, but where I grew up in Texas, we had very muddy lakes. And you know what makes lakes more fun?
I was just going to say, boats are great on lakes.
Yeah.
I love the beach. So I love the ocean. Deep water terrifies me because I cannot see what's underneath me. I would go out on a boat in deep water. I don't want to jump in deep water. There's the difference. Lake water in Tennessee, by and large, is disgusting. It's muddy and brown, and I cannot see what's underneath me. And we have things like water moccasins and disgusting seaweed, which is foul when it touches your body. And I'll want any part of it. I'll have a lake house. That would be great. Like, I love the water. I just don't want to be in dirty, seaweed ridden, potentially snake bearing water. No. Mm-mm.
Let's talk about our 1 minute marketing term.
Today, it's lead nurturing. I think if you're a realtor, this will not be anything that's foreign to you, and it might make you cringe just slightly, but we don't need to cringe because it's simple. It's just, it's cultivating and defining your audience. So this is my audience. I'm cultivating a relationship with them. We don't have to crawl in a hole because this doesn't have to be formal, because lead nurturing could be way more broad than how some people would define it. It doesn't have to be this super formal process of you do this checklist of 5 things in order to get leads in your inbox. It's much longer game. It is, I am doing these things to cultivate relationships with people and through these channels. So whether it be networking events that I'm having with other realtors that are bringing in client leads, or if I am online projecting content via my social channels, those are all methods of lead nurturing.
Yeah, so it's an intentional way of building trust.
Yes, sort of goes back to building your brand, but it's a part of doing that. So since we talked about it being a long game, there are lots of things that we talk about that are very long game oriented. And social media strategy would definitely...
Welcome to all of marketing.
To all of marketing. If anyone says that you can be successful overnight, stop it. Exactly. Those things happen, but those are usually a byproduct of luck and not of hard work. I hate to break it to anyone, especially me, because I'm not patient. It takes a commitment. So having a good social media strategy is a commitment. And I think where a lot of people get frustrated is that the goals sometimes have ambiguous ROIs. Like, they're not easily trackable necessarily. It's hard. Sometimes you have to draw conclusions based on a set of data or experiences that you're having, or apply context to some of the numbers that you're seeing. And it's not always cut and dry, which Andrew will say is one of the things I will harp on until I die, is that marketing is rarely super attributable. You cast your message out into a wide world and you cannot always know who's hearing it when and when they're going to act. You just can't. But you still do it because it does matter.
You know, they say that half of marketing works. You just don't know which half. So it's a hard pill to swallow when you are you've got a finite amount of dollars that you can spend on marketing and you want it to be the best. And so that's why you need a really good strategy. And you know who loves to talk about strategy? Rachel. Let's talk about really good goals for social media
Yep.
strategy.
So this is actually what Kangaroos tries to help do with our realtor members. So when we have this conversation here, I think we're going to build it around that framework. But this could apply. I mean, this applies to us all, no matter what we're doing. We're just going to really talk about it in the sense of being a realtor. So if you want to build your own brand awareness, which we talked about in episode 1, you're a brand, whether you like it or not. You want everyone to a personal brand. You
Yep.
want everyone to know that. So your goal, why you need to have that goal is building a brand. That's a goal you have. You want people to know what's important to you, what you stand for, what you're quote unquote selling, which sounds icky, but it's really not. You're selling a service that is helping people. So you want to know, you want to do all that. That's part of your goal for this strategy, is that your personal brand would shine. Number 2, what else do I want to do? Build brand loyalty to me. I want, when people think of realtor, to think of me, because I've put myself out there as this helpful person. I'm in the business of educating people and offering super helpful real estate or market knowledge. Or I want you to know that I know everything there is to know about Nashville or the specific area of Nashville. So if you're looking to move to this area, that is a goal that I have, is for when you are ready to move or to buy or to sell, that I'm the first person that comes to mind, because I've done that really well. You have known me, trusted me, and now that it's time that you need someone, you're going to give me a call.
Yeah, I think this is what Kangaroost does really well, is that we are setting up realtors to be experts on their local area. So if you're in Nashville, we are setting you up to be the Nashville expert.
Yeah. Dallas, the same way. Memphis, we have different markets that we're serving. And our content plan is strategic in nature, in the sense that you're not just talking about the same thing over and over and over. I'm
That's
not
right.
hearing you just talk about all the great bars in town, because while that's a lot of fun, I'm like, does she close houses? Like, I mean, it's great that she knows
That's right.
where I should go for happy hour, but I want to make sure that she can handle my contracts and work with my lender and negotiate really well on this house that's going to have 25 other offers on it. I want to win. So
That's
I
right.
need to know that too. Remembering that social media is an additional channel to communicate to your client base, whether they be past, present, or future, is really important.
This is number 3. Point
Did I
number
say
3.
number 2?
You just rolling.
Sorry, people. I am rolling today. I will be slower. I just expect everyone to be able to read my mind. Social media has a lot of faults, but it is actually an excellent way of keeping in touch with people. For instance, this year might be a significant reunion number for me for high school. And I cannot go.
10 years.
Yeah, it's only 10. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how I keep turning 29. It's great. Um, I cannot go, but you know what? I'm really not missing out, because I keep in touch with most of my best friends from high school via social media. Like, I get to see what's going on in their house, what their kids are like. I see some high points. I mean, I do talk to the best of friends, not on socials, but for the people that I really do care about, but it's harder to keep up with a super close friendship, I'm still seeing those great things that are happening. And so,
Right. So back in the day, we would pick up the phone and call, or we would write letters. This is just a more instantaneous
yeah,
channel. It's not better or worse. It is just another place to
yeah,
communicate.
exactly. Do you want to talk about number 4?
Sure. Being a thought leader. This is what we were talking about just a little bit ago. I continue to jump the list. I'm sorry. So, being an expert. If you are the expert on a certain topic, then let that shine. So people need to know that they are coming to you to be the expert in real estate or investing or your city that you're in. They need to know that you are the answer to all of their
Right.
questions.
And why I would say, in addition to what Andrew just said, Think about all of the people, all of your colleagues who are not doing that on social media. And think
That's
about the
right.
advantage that you immediately have when you start doing that on social media. So, within this space that we're living in, so many realtors unfortunately don't do it well. And I see it. We see it because we're in this business, and so we look up realtors that we're talking to, and their feeds are empty. They might have two pictures on Instagram. They might have a post from 4 years ago on Facebook. And if I'm a millennial, which is borderline, I'm not, unfortunately, which is aging me even more. But if I'm a millennial and I hold the biggest buying power now, which is true about that generation, and I start my searches online and I go and see nothing, then I move on because that's where I'm getting my information.
That's right. You're going to be posting something, and what you need to be the thought leader in is real estate. So if you're posting about your family vacation, or if I am searching for anything at this point and I see that, it's a personal feed, I might get to know you a little bit, but I don't know that you're going to be the right person for me. You care a lot about Little League baseball because that's where your son plays, but what we need you to be is the expert in real estate, or the expert in where I'm going next. So if I've got questions, I really need you to be the
Yeah.
answer.
As a caveat, because we're full of those, I don't think it's wrong necessarily
It is not wrong.
to
The next point,
be a
be a
human.
human.
So there are times I think and Andrew is really great at this, is finding common ground. So what do I have in common with this person that I'm talking to, and how can I make that a point of conversation to make them feel more comfortable about meeting a new person or making a new friend. Um, so that's good. So me seeing that you have a kid that's my kid's age is not a bad thing. But I don't know that you're a great realtor if that's all I see. So if you're going to post those personal things, do it intentionally, but also do it like in the mixture of the rest of the content that's going to help me know that you're great at your job.
I was reading a book from the 1920s not too long ago, business book from the 1920s, just to see how things had changed. And one of the tips that they said you should do is, before you go to a coffee meeting or to meet with somebody, that you needed to read the newspaper. You needed to be on top of current events so that you could talk to anyone. So this is the same idea. You are more than a robot. You are more than just the expert on Nashville. It is okay to be human. It is okay to talk about current events. It is okay to talk about your son's Little League baseball game. But it's a balance. You've got to have some expertise. You've got to have some humanizing features.
Agreed. And number 6, so in case you didn't catch it the first 400 times I've said it today, so sorry, this is a long game. Someone could need a realtor the day they see your post, and great. But those, I would say, are the stroke of luck things that we kind of talked about previously. It's like it just happened to hit someone in the very exact moment that they needed it, and you get a call. Otherwise, it's work to cultivate relationships, whether it be your friendships or people that are potential clients online. So, but if you're consistent and you're doing it, you're going to be one of the people that pops into their head when that need arises for them. So, Andrew said this before, it might not be like the day he needs a realtor, but 2 years from now he might need one. And he has 2 or 3 people in mind because those people have cultivated relationships with him.
So practically, Rachel, I want to sign up to play this long game.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
First, and we emphasize this, and we build our plans for our members this way, you have to be consistent. Like there's no room to not be consistent on social media unless you have gobs of money that you're going to start spending on ads so that you appear in algorithms. The way that things are, they just algorithms for the platforms that we're all using, Facebook, Instagram primarily, favor consistency. So if you are only posting once in a blue moon, your posts aren't really going to show up in people's feeds. That's just how things are. So you have to do it
That's right.
pretty frequently. So our plans build in at least 5 posts a week. We give you tips on what else to do in the meantime, but you have to be consistent.
So more than just posting, number 2 is interacting.
Yeah.
You need to engage with the people.
Yeah. Can I go down a rabbit hole for a minute?
Please.
So I think there's something to be said for things that can be pre-scheduled. But if that to be organized and to make sure that you're being consistent, if you use pre-scheduling tools, I think that's very important. So if you take 2 hours every month to sit down right before the month starts and schedule out all your posts so that you know you've got something posting and it's not something you're going to have to think about doing, that's really wise. But if you do it and then never log back in,
it's very efficient.
It's very efficient. Full disclosure, I do that sometimes for us. So, but what we don't do is just do that and never touch Instagram or Facebook again. So you have to interact with people. So if you're posting those things and you're using some sort of pre-scheduling software or service, great. Every day you need to check in and you need to say, all these potential clients or all my current clients or past clients are commenting or interacting with my content, and me being silent looks like, oh, she has a robot posting for her, and it dehumanizes you, which automatically makes me not really trust you with anything.
So as we were talking earlier about this being another channel of communication, it's a two-way communication. You are posting, they're responding, and now carry on that conversation. Right. So if they were to comment on your post and you don't ever even just liking it, if you don't interact with their comment, it's like they've called you or they wrote you the sweetest handwritten note and then you never talk to them again.
Right. No one likes that. No one likes to be ghosted.
No one likes that.
No one. Also, we're going to say the A word again, but what favors interaction, class? It's algorithms. So we don't have to like it, but it's just the way things are. I mean, I didn't write these rules. I'm just telling you what they are. Like, algorithms favor it. So again, if you are not interacting with the people who are interacting with you, then that will show up less and less in their feeds. Take it up with Mark Zuckerberg.
I have had a very long career behind the camera, and yet number 3, posting to stories and reels still feels pretty intimidating to me.
I understand. Andrew and I have both had careers in which we're helping other people be in front of cameras and coaching them on how to do that well. And so when you're doing that so often, it is weird to feel like the tables have turned and now you're that person. If you are in the realty business and you are trying to get a client, and someone else has said this, so I can't remember where I heard this. And once I think of where I can attribute it, I will make sure to do that. But basically they said, people are going to meet you. They're going to find out what you look like. They're going to find out what your voice sounds like. They're going to find out if you have a weird personality quirk. That's all going to happen if you're really you are in the people business. You're helping people.
That's
and
right.
You're not doing that unless we have some other weird COVID outbreak. You're not doing that from behind a screen. You're going to be taking them in your car to listings and you're going to be doing all those things. So they're going to see what you look like eventually. So why not start now?
That's right.
The great thing about Reels is that you don't have to do that live. So you can take and retake and retake and retake and then post when you're happy. You don't even have to make a reel of your face. You can take pictures of your listings and sync that to music and throw it up as a reel and you're done. We can help with that. So if that's something that you really don't know how to do, you just email one of us and we'll walk you through it. But it can be done. You don't even have to show your face at first. But if you're in the business of building your personal brand, part of your personal brand is you. Instagram particularly is currently moving. So there's the little asterisk, currently moving to be a more video centric platform. And what that means is that algorithms are going to favor video formats, which are reels and sometimes stories. Again, if you don't want to spend bajillions of dollars trying to reach potential audiences and you want to work the system, so to speak, then you need to include those in your content. Okay. 4.
A great way to game the system a little bit, how to game the algorithm, is to follow more people, to follow people that are like-minded. Follow more people in your own audience.
Yeah. So,
and then they will be targeted.
So when you're building a Facebook page, this looks like going and inviting people to like your page. Start with your friends. If they're good friends, they're going to like your page. They might not interact with it a lot, but they want to support you. So ask them to do it, because eventually what happens is Facebook will start targeting people that are like them. So it will naturally expand the number of people that you can reach based on this small audience that you have created. Similarly, Instagram will give you suggested people to follow based on who your current audience is. So if you build your business Instagram account and you ask your friends to like it and they do, then your network will start expanding based on that, on those people that you've started with, on that core little circle. So what would be helpful is to follow different things in Nashville. So if I'm a realtor and I want to know the best bars, well, I know 5 off the top of my head. I'm going to go follow those. And eventually, Instagram will make more suggestions on bars I should follow. And I do that. And then I've expanded my knowledge, what I can repost, what I can reshare, suggestions I can make to this person who's moving to this neighborhood where this bar is. All that's at my fingertips by me just doing a little bit of work on the front end.
Instagram tells me all the churches that are around.
Andrew needs some religion.
You get bars. We're signing up for the long game. How fast is the long game?
It's slow. It's like the tortoise and the hare. That story, that childhood story. If you wear yourself out and you get discouraged after a few days because things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like, you need to stop it. You just need to know this is a long game. It's a game that actually never stops because this is always evolving. So I put the little asterisk earlier because I said currently the algorithms favor these things. If you know anything about social media and the platforms that we use, you know that they change those algorithms to benefit them. No offense. No offense to anyone who works in any of those places that's listening. We know that that's just part of it. So you kind of have to stay in touch with people who know what they're talking about, or learn it yourself, or use a service like Kangaroos who tries to do that for you so that you're not having to learn all those things. We're making ourselves learn all those things and then passing along that bag of goodies. But it is slow, just in the same way as rarely do people just click, except for if you meet Andrew and I, we like people, but sometimes it takes work to develop a new friendship. So it might feel awkward to be around a new friend at first, and then 2 or 3 months into it, you realize I really, really like spending time with this person, and this isn't as hard as it felt. Social media is the same way. It's a long game. The last one is, do not think of all the things that make social media a train wreck. We'll admit that out loud. It feels really ugly sometimes, but it can be. But I think that a way to approach it instead is looking for the opportunity. It's like looking for the helpers, Mr. Rogers used to say. You can make it better. You have this little corner of the world and a voice in it, and you get to fill it with things that are good. And so I think
that's right.
You can
That's right.
Look at your aunt who argues with political robots and get really discouraged, or you can say, I can make something beautiful and good and contribute it to this little space that I own, to this world that's watching. And that's my contribution to making everyone feel better about today. So it can be a very happy thing. It's all in how you frame it. So I think we hear a lot, I hate social media. Well, I mean, yeah, I get it, but it's all about what you contribute to it to make it better.
That's right. So if you still have questions for Rachel or myself, email us, rachel@kangaroost.com, andrew@kangaroost.com. This is a really good discussion. This is really solid.
I hope it's helpful. And again, like, we really do like helping people. So if all this feels very overwhelming, please reach out, because we, one, love new people, and two, would really like to help you not be overwhelmed by it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
As per every episode, we wrap with a local related question. And today it's going to get ugly, because Andrew is from Texas and I am from Memphis. And there is one thing, well, there's probably lots of things, because, Andrew thinks everything is better in Texas, but.
And we're opinionated.
No, not at all. Neither one of us have opinions about anything. But today we're talking about barbecue. So yes, we are opinionated. Let's find common ground before we have this conversation.
Okay.
Kansas City barbecue. Bleh. No. Midwest does not count as barbecue. In North Carolina.
Okay.
Meh.
Yeah.
Meh. Like, it's meh. Compared to Memphis and Texas, which I will say, I'm nowhere near the barbecue connoisseur that Andrew is. So
they're
similar, but I feel like Texas is like brisket and Memphis is like pulled pork. I feel like those are where they're in ribs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we have these little pieces of the pie, and sure, we do all the other things too, but like, that's where Memphis shines and that's where Texas shines. But just you tell me where I'm wrong. On this.
I think you're right.
On this.
On that aspect.
On everything else, we can wait till the podcast is done.
Yeah. So here's I'm going to throw one more at you. Another caveat. So the Carolinas tend to be very vinegary based sauces. Kansas City tends to be very sweet with their sauces. I did not understand and really don't still, the Alabama white sauce. It was a new thing to me maybe 15 years ago, and my wife grew up with it. I truly don't get it. And so I'm going to say that, humbly, Alabama barbecue is just different and weird enough that it's not Texas. Texas is obviously the best barbecue in the land. It is just good. It is just good. So where can you find good Texas barbecue in Nashville? There are a lot of really good barbecue places here. There are a lot, but Shotgun Willie's in East Nashville is the best Texas barbecue that I have found, with one A is Bringle's Smoking Oasis in West Nashville. Also really, really good. So if you're looking for really good brisket, that's where you go.
Okay.
Are you a Rendezvous or a Central barbecue fan? Big sigh.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a bad way. I think every one of those places has their own strengths. So Rendezvous.
No.
Stop it. Rendezvous is nostalgic in the sense of my parents. So my family's from Memphis. So, and when my parents both went to the University of Memphis, and when they were dating, they used to go to the Rendezvous on dates. And so, like, fast forward a couple decades, they have kids. My sisters and I are probably like late high school, early college. We go back to the Rendezvous as a family before a basketball game, and the same server who served my parents knew my parents when we walked in the door. I mean, we moved out of Memphis and we moved all over the country, so it's not like we were going every Thursday night or something for a family dinner, and remembered them from when they're dating. And so it has like a very family feel, and they use more like dry rub type things, which I
Oh, yeah.
prefer. I don't like super syrup.
Do not ask for sauce.
I don't like
at
super
Rendezvous.
syrupy sauce things. I just don't, because I feel like if the meat is cooked well, it doesn't need those things. Anyway, so
Right.
so I love Rendezvous for maybe different reasons. I do think their ribs are really good. Central is not my favorite Memphis barbecue. I like it, but I feel like if I have to pick another place in Memphis, it's the Commissary in Germantown. So good.
But what about Nashville?
Sorry, we're stuck on Nashville. I think, like I said, different places for different things. So there is a place in Murfreesboro called Slick Pig, and they have the best smoked wings I've ever had. And so my husband and I were craving wings. We're like, we will make a special trip to Slick Pig to pick up wings. Their pulled pork is pretty good too. I really like Edley's. It's just like a general barbecue place. I think it's pretty good. Their sides are good. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, like I said, kind of picky.
Edley's is really good. Don't get me wrong.
Edley's is really good.
But if I'm going for Texas barbecue,
right,
Shotgun Willie's.
Like Andrew started this conversation with, there are plenty of happy barbecue places.
That is right.
Nashville. They all have their own strengths. I don't mean to knock on Central. Central is good. It's just hard because there are so many places to pick a favorite. I think Central has great people. They have good sides. They have good menu options too. But I don't know that I can really pick a favorite. There's so many. And there's like a lot of good mom and pop places that are sort of hole in the wall places in all the suburbs around Nashville. And it's hard to keep up with because we've eaten at those too, and they're delicious. And it's not necessarily one that you're going to hear about. It's just sort of, you need to drive down the street and look for it.
Sometime I will tell you the story of when the fire department came to my backyard as I was smoking lots and lots of meat.
Oh, gosh.
But that's for another day. If you have enjoyed this conversation, we would love it if you rate and review this podcast so that others might find it as well. And if you are needing some social media help, we would love to talk with you. You can sign up at kangaroos.com. We've got share squares. We've got lots of content that can go out into your feed for $65 a month. Or if you just need a little bit of help, shoot us an email and we would love to talk.
Also, for our listeners, we have a discount code for your first month. It's first month 50 spelled out, first month, both words spelled out, and you get 50% off. 50. Yeah. So first month spelled out and 50 at the end takes 50% off your first month. So
everybody loves a discount.
Why not? We hope to see you.
Why not? Rachel, great talking with you. Thank you for this really, really good practical advice. We will see y'all next week.
See you next time.